my name, thinking I won't be the same. Turn fiction into fact. See what you didn't know, bruises that I'll never show, slipping on your every jab. So tighten up your fist, step into the ring with this. I hope your mama's got your back. First round, you thought you would've knocked me down. Fifth round, bleeding out the side of your mouth. Final round, pulling the sound of my name in the crowd. You did a bust. Oh, 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 oh. You did a bust. Oh, 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 oh. Just 'cause I took a break, you're making a huge mistake, thinking you can take the throne. Look at you trembling, step into the lion's den. Bet you wish you stayed at home, begging for mercy underneath your breath when I ain't even sweating yet. My legend's written in the stone, yeah. Your crying age in defeat is now your only friend. Even your mama's gotta know. First round, you thought you would've knocked me down. Fifth round, bleeding out the side of your mouth. Final round, only the sound of my name in the crowd. You did a bust. Oh, 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 oh. You did a bust. First round, fifth round, final round. Oh, yeah. First round, fifth round, final round. No, 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 no. First round, you thought you would've knocked me down. Fifth round, bleeding out the side of your mouth. Final round, only the sound of my name in the crowd. You did a bust. Oh, 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 oh. You did a bust. Oh, 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 oh,
I anticipate sophisticated security measures. I trust you can be of service there?
Well, let me check my list of powers and weaknesses. Ability to do anything, but only whenever I want. Yeah, it sounds like a job for me.
Good evening, everyone. We're going a little early. We have breaking news. The excuse me, the a 8.7 earthquake, which my understanding is the 7th largest recorded in history. 8.7 on the Richter scale has been recorded off the coast of Russia. There's been multiple tsunami warnings issued. We're going to get into that in a minute. You can also find it on the Discord. On the Discord, it incorrectly says 8.0 earthquake. It is actually 8.7. It was initially thought to be an 8, but it was upgraded to 8.7. That may not sound like a whole heck of a lot of difference, but since it's a logarithmic scale, 8, for example, is 10 times larger than a 7, 7 is 10 times larger than a 6, so on and so forth. So the difference between an 8 and an 8.7 is astonishing. Let me I wonder if... All right, I'll have to get to that in a second. So, yes, we did go a little earlier than planned. We are still going to do our regular planned show, but we wanted to make sure that everybody knows this. All of the areas in Russia expected to be hit by a tsunami, if there's going to be one, have actually already been hit, with the exception of one that is apparently that is about 1 minute away from getting hit. We don't know if there's been any hits. We know nothing. This happened off the coast of Russia, so they are the first ones that are going to get struck. We know there are warnings issued now for Alaska, Japan, Hawaii, Guam, and Midway Islands. The largest they're anticipating, I think, let's see, Japan, they said they're looking at a 3 meter, a possible as high as 3 meters, so that would be about 9 to 10 feet is what they're looking at hitting Japan. That's above the normal high tide mark. So Japan is no stranger to tsunamis. They do have obviously protections against them, but this, as I said before, is to the best of my understanding. I'm not 100% sure. My understanding is that this is the 7th largest quake ever recorded. We are expecting Japan to be hit if there is a tsunami, which underwater sensors should detect before it gets hit. We expect Japan to be hit within about 90 minutes. The first locations in Japan to be hit within 90 minutes. Japan, multiple different islands, and they would go through. It would take all the strikes in Japan would occur within a little over an hour. Then let's see, from that point on, I'm trying to find Northwest Hawaii is looking at about almost 2 hours away, 2.5 hours before a tsunami would hit there. So NOAA is reporting issues with tsunami warnings on their page. It might be because there have been massive cuts to NOAA, and NOAA has scaled back on all of its resources. It may not. It may be a complete and utter coincidence that NOAA is apparently incapable at this point of keeping up with this tsunami. The good news is that earthquakes, tsunamis, they're like sea monsters. They don't actually happen. We don't need NOAA. There's no such thing as a hurricane. It's all fake news. So sleep tight. Marshall Islands, let's see. Okay, so Northwest Hawaii is going to be under that warning for, it looks like, an hour and a half. There's still some places in Japan that are expected to be hit after that. So let's see, UTC, Pompeii, Laos, in the Philippines. So, I mean, it's a huge one. My understanding, it's been a long time since I've looked at this, but sort of my understanding is whether or not there's a tsunami depends on a lot of factors. If you have like an underground volcano, and what either triggered the earthquake or as a result of the earthquake is a piece of the volcano breaking off, so that, I think that's for a certain kind of tsunami, so you will all have to forgive me. I'm going to check the live chat in a minute. I want to see if I can catch up on whether or not we've actually seen any tsunami. All right. We're trying to keep up with multiple, and like I said, this isn't... Okay, so the 8.7 has taken out internet on the Russian coast, so 𝐒𝐚𝐬. I'm curious. and tsunami warnings across Russia, Japan, Guam, Hawaii, and Alaska. All right. Yeah, that's a power outage. Oh, shoot. Okay, so we have a 4-meter high tsunami has hit Russia. So it's about 13 feet. Tsunami has hit Russia. Yeah, Japan is getting alert. Yeah, this may be big enough. We may just scrap tonight's show. Again, power outages and... Okay, so they were the first ones who were going to get struck, and we knew that if they were going to get struck, it was going to be within about 10 to 15 minutes. So by the time we went live, we were saying, look, they've already been hit if they were going to be hit, and their state news is hitting. State news says it's hitting. Okay, and they're saying 3 to 4 meters. So that's, I mean, that's huge. That's absolutely huge. Again, 8.7. All right. So once again, you can all rest assured that NOAA is incapable of dealing with this situation, thanks to money well spent by cutting back on NOAA and various. So you enjoy the 5 cents a decade that you have saved out of your checkbook. I'm not bitter. Okay, so I think what I may do is, if I can go back to the list of... So Hawaii is expected to actually get hit 4.5 hours from now. So Hawaii, that's... okay. And, again, apologies, and then I will check the live chat. Okay, it looks like, yeah. 7th strongest earthquake ever, strongest in 14 years. It's an 8.7. And the wave that hit Russia was about 13 feet high. We have no idea what the casualties are in Russia. We do know that there's significant internet and power outages there at this point. The Pacific Tsunami Warning Center has issued a tsunami watch for Hawaii. Again, yeah, and okay, so and again, they're reminding people, so it's a significant upgrade. It is not 8.0, it is an 8.7. Because Hawaii is about 8 hours away, and I don't have the timesheet anymore. I could probably bring that up. I'd like to figure out. Okay, let me bring up the timesheet. If Hawaii is 8 hours away, now Russia. Okay, so Japan is still. Yeah. I'm going to need, at some point, you'd think that we have enough clocks here. You'd think I'd get one that either has the time translated or, if I'm reading this correctly, Japan is actually looking at the first hit in Japan will be in about 20 or 30 minutes, if I'm reading this correctly. And then they're going to get hit basically every 20 to 30 minutes after that. It's going to hit a different island. So Kushiro is the first one that's going to get hit. And if I don't know enough to speculate whether it's going to be the same size or bigger. The last warning we had was that Japan could expect a 3-meter high hit. The hit in Russia was between 3 and 4, in excess of 3, but below 4. We don't know the exact amount. We're hearing about 13, 14 feet. So now, Midway. When is Midway going to get hit? Oh, I saw Midway just a second ago. Oh, Midway Islands. That is 0327 UTC. So that's 037 UTC for Midway getting hit. All right. Because of all, I mean, like I said, we did have a show planned. We went early for this, so please apologies on our lack of preparedness. What I'm going to do now is I'm really, I haven't even gotten into the back end. I just wanted to, it was Daddy Jim who first posted this, and Titan made sure I got it, and I kept an eye on it. We weren't necessarily going to go with it, but when it went from 8 to 8.7, we're like, okay, yeah, we're doing that. So let me quickly get to, I just want to get to the back end and get where I feel like we're on top of what we should be on top of, and I can see and answer questions. U.S. tsunami reporting page seems locked up due to traffic. Yeah, that might have. There's been some budget cuts at NOAA, and you know, they may have cut back on the number of routers. Okay, and there have been aftershocks in the same region. Thank you, Titan. So we have an 8.9. Sorry, not an 8. Correction, a 6.9 and a 6.3 aftershock. I do expect, if he's not here yet, Isandring will be joining us. It might, if I were a nice guy, I'd raise the camera for him, or raise the shield. I mean, just out of curiosity. There we go. All right. All right. So, no, I don't think there was any warning on this. Let me check out. See if we have no. All right. So the let's see. Okay, the okay. So Mount Rainier yesterday was. So that would strike me as largest earthquake swarm ever recorded at massive U.S. volcano. Where is that in relation to? All right, thank you. So, what I think I'm going to do is do one more brief rundown. Isandring will be joining us probably reasonably soon. We'll maybe do a regular show. There's a couple of things that I wanted to touch on today. Nothing like absolutely urgent, and I want to make sure that any information gets out there that they need. I also want to cover hits as they come. Japan, it looks like, is going to get hit while we're live, so it's something that we should bring. Let me okay. So the first island is going to be Kushiro. That is at 0132 UTC. 0132 UTC. That's Japan. Midway is 0311 UTC. Japan's going to have a number of more hits, like over a 20-minute period there. And then I wanted to find Hawaii. Okay, Honolulu is looking at getting hit 0532 UTC. 0532 is Honolulu. I think they're the first ones. Yep. Japan will still have an island. Nagasaki is expected to get hit 0533. So, I mean, it's going to be a while. So, let me get back to. What was I? We'll welcome. We'll welcome Isandring to this nightmare. Honest to God, I mean, for me, it's just this is yet another example of all right. Yeah, Isandring should be in a minute. I spoke with him. We were doing our pre-show prep, and then this happened. So this was a little behind. All right, I'm going to do one more check-in on this. We've got the times now, so I want to see if there's anything else we know of. Any, like I said, like who was next to get hit? It was Japan, and it looks like they've got okay. So that's the 8.7 revision that we already know. Tsunami watch is in effect for California. Okay, so okay, we've got tsunami watch in effect for California from the Mexico border to Oregon. It's all the entire border, including San Francisco Bay, is now in a tsunami watch. Oregon. The whole coast, Washington, outer coast, British Columbia, Southeast Alaska, and all now officially a tsunami watch in effect. I don't have the it looks like okay, so the watch means it's not yet confirmed. Let me get to that. And all So I think that's where we stand. For those of you just joining us, an 8.7, which to my understanding is the 7th largest earthquake ever recorded. 8.7 earthquake was struck off of the coast of Russia. Russia has reported a tsunami hitting them between 3 and 4 meters. That is sent a live link of the feed. Oh, thank you. I will. Yeah, considering they're going to get hit in. Well, wait. They got what? 32 minutes. All right. I'll get that feed up in a minute. Thank you. Thank you, Dark Art Designs. I appreciate it. I'll get that up. The show we had planned for today, I'm going to hit on it now, and we'll probably hit on it intermittently, is basically Trump saying really stupid things in relation to Epstein, what's going on with the Epstein, and where we expect, thank you, Titan, where he's said some truly dumb things in the last 48 hours, including that the reason he got rid of Epstein was because Epstein was poaching young women from Mar-a-Lago. And he forgave him at first and issued an ultimatum, stop doing it, and then he did it again. And then he was asked if Guffrey was one of the ones that he was poached, and at first he said, "Well, I don't know. Yeah, she was one. She was working at the spa." He admitted that he knew where she was working. He admitted that she was one of the ones taken by Epstein, and this was his place. She was 14 years old at that time when she was, quote, poached, using Trump's words. That I'm not an expert. That might not be something you want to say on air. All right. I was not honestly planning on. Okay. Thank you, live feed. So I have a live feed off the coast of Japan right now. I will bring it into the center box in just a minute. I'm curious about what's the best way for me to, how I'd like to get this in. This is just a standard YouTube. Yeah, it is. It's taking a minute to load. Oh, that's because there's a lot of activity. All right, we'll put that on the center box. So that's just going to take me a second. Thank you all for helping with that. That's a really big help. So let's see, there we go. I'm curious if, so yeah, basically, and then he said something even more dumb on, whatchamacallit, he was on Air Force One and making some more dumb comments, including, oh, hold on. Oh, that's why. Okay. Well, this is going to be a hack job, folks. So I do apologize for that, but I honestly wasn't prepared to go into this, and you know, when a live show, when a breaking news happens, like basically during a live show, and we don't have time to, yeah, it gets interesting. So let's see, that's 240. So with luck, that's going to be reasonably close. That's close enough. There you go. So thank you, Dark Art Designs. That is something I need to move out of the way. That is a live feed from Koshiro. I don't remember if they're the first ones who are going to get hit, but we do anticipate Japan starting to get hit within about a half hour. So we'll see. Isandring, you here?
I am.
How are ya?
Okay, tired. It's been a busy day.
Yeah,
Shouldering all the stupid things that Trump says is exhausting.
it absolutely is. And I feel bad because I do want to continue to cover the earthquake is more important, but we also know that it's not going to strike anything for another 30 minutes. What we also know about this is that it's apparently the 7th largest. Somebody is now saying the 8th largest earthquake ever recorded. It is the largest in 16 years. The wall of water that struck Russia was apparently about 13 or 14 feet high over the high tide line. So that's quite staggering. It is headed towards, we know that Guam, Hawaii, Midway, Japan are going to get hit. We don't know how badly or if at all if California is going to get hit, but there is a warning or a watch. I always confuse the two. I think it's a watch for the entire west coast of the United States. We'll see. We know that the place in Russia that got hit is without power and is lost power, lost internet. We don't know much else. I didn't want to follow too much into that. So we're going to try to do a show while we have this from Japan, and we'll talk about it. But it does remind me of what you said about emergency preparedness, and somebody pointed this out, which is if the internet goes down, all anyone's going to have left are CBs and radios and stuff like that.
Yes, it does we take the internet for granted. Our phones and information of the world at our fingertips, and suddenly when that's gone and you don't know what's coming, communication is a pretty important thing.
NOAA has already been criticized for several failures. First of all, they failed to update the correct size of the earthquake as fast as basically any other country. The earthquake was registered as an 8.0 by everybody. I don't know the monitoring service. I don't know how they determined this, but it was accepted as an 8.0. By the time we went live, it had gotten to 8.7, which is significantly larger. NOAA not only did not update that for looks like about 15 or 20 minutes after everybody else, but the NOAA website has been going down intermittently and has not been able to give people information as to where there are warnings. Any thoughts as to why this might be?
Sorry, you broke up a minute there. Maybe I should go over to the other side of the lot. Ask that question again.
Oh, I was wondering if you had any thoughts as to why NOAA is having a hard time responding to this.
I'm sure it has absolutely nothing to do with any kind of lack of funding. I'm sure that that's not anything to do with it at all.
Good. So we are in agreement. All right. So
a lot of space out there to watch, and you'd be amazed at how many people it takes to start coordinating things together when you have to start putting single people dedicated to watching just this thing.
Yeah, and it's like, and the other
fun things like that.
The other thing is never had the privilege. That was Donald Trump was opining on how many times Bill Clinton went to the island and how many times other people went to the island, and also said he had never had the privilege. All that notwithstanding, how does he know? How does he know how many times Bill Clinton and these others went to the island? There's only two ways. The first is he was there with them, which I actually doubt. Or he's read or been informed of what's on the Epstein files, which he has explicitly said he has not read, and he has not been read in on by Pam Bondi. So somewhere there. It's like, so how do you know? You can't have it both ways. Okay. I did want to ask you.
Amazing powers of deduction. That's what it is. He's the next Sherlock Holmes. He was able to. It was elementary, dear Vance. Elementary.
We're going to get into like I said, it's a little bizarre. I don't. There's a more pending urgency with the quake, but all we can do is sit there and repeat stuff about the quake. And Trump did say some things today, and I've got Isandring on now. We've missed a couple shows, so I would like to try to cover some of these things, especially areas about which you know better. One of them is the attitudes of the right, both because you listen to more radio and you know more people who are especially on the far right than I do. So Joe Rogan is really holding on to the Epstein issue, and a lot of people seem to be sort of following him. MAGA seems to be following him. I have a profound concern, which is they've subpoenaed Ghislaine Maxwell to testify. She said she will only testify under certain conditions. We may or may not have time to get into those conditions. I will tell you those conditions are not going to get met. So she will likely be pleading the fifth. There is one other condition that she said she would do it under, and that's if she receives a pardon. What do you think is going to happen if she receives a pardon? Because me on the left, looking at this, I'm going to say that's a bribe because Trump is involved, and you now cannot take her testimony as meaning anything if she gets a pardon. Is that what's your attitude, and what do you think is going to be the attitude of people on the far right, for whom you do not speak, but you know better than I do?
Well, almost everybody that I know is pretty pissed off about the whole Epstein not being already or files not being already released. So a little bit of the glamour has worn off, and they're really sticking to that. And I still don't think this is going to see the light of the day, because, or at least the light of the public, because I have a feeling that there's very powerful people that are going to be implicated. And even if they're completely innocent of any actual wrongdoing, direct wrongdoing, I should say, perhaps guilty of by means of silence, but I just don't, I would be surprised if they actually release anything of substance from that. So I don't know. I don't think, yeah, I'm still kind of up in the air. I don't think it's going to be released, and I don't think that Trump has any particular reason to actually release it, and he's pissing a lot of people off. People who are very staunch supporters and are very pissed off about this, and they don't seem to want to let it go either.
Well, that's what I'm concerned about, is that it kind of loses its appeal, and they lose the energy and enthusiasm to keep following it. He has done a couple of, oh, look, moments where he's trying to get people, apparently, what's his name, Kash Patel, has come out and said he doesn't understand why people are talking about this. He's essentially discovered a secret room in the FBI of all of these secrets that nobody knew of, and he wants to start revealing them. It's sort of like, wow, there's a secret room in the center of the FBI.
Stop looking over here. Look over there. Look, we got all of this stuff. There's a secret room. Really? You think? Maybe there's probably more than one?
So let's I want to figure out which one to play first. Let me like I said, I was in the middle of setup when all this happened, so I'm not sure I've got these.
It's been built up way beyond proportion. I can say this: those files were run by the worst scum.
Oh, okay, yeah. So the internal is, so before we do that, let me just I'm going to make sure the audio goes up on that, and then I want to make sure that we can hear that internally, and since I don't have my controller, everything's just taking me a minute longer here. So it's going to be... Oh, there we go. So, yeah, I'm going to bring that up. And my concern is the audience may get a bit of an echo with this. If you do, let me know. I can try to minimize it. So let's listen. We're still getting aftershocks. Okay, Carpathian, thank you. We're going to get back to the volcano, to the quake in a minute, because we do have some information coming in. Let me see if I can play this here for you guys.
On Earth, they were run by Comey, they were run by Garland, they were run by Biden. It's a hoax that's been built up way beyond proportion. I can say this, those files were run by the worst scum on Earth. They were run by Comey, they were run by Garland, they were run by Biden and all of the people that actually ran the government, including the auto pen. Those files were run for 4 years.
So yeah, apparently the auto pen, yeah, it's gonna be very hard to get. Let's see, I want to get audio so that we can split it so we can hear it internally without getting an echo. But that's gonna be hard to do. Oh, that may do it. All right, I think that'll do it. I think I got it. So what is that? 43. We're gonna play that one again, but that was apparently the auto pen is doing the conspiracy. Dear Lord. All right. So we're gonna play this. Maybe we'll get through it without laughing our asses off at what Trump has to say. I doubt it.
Hoax that's been built up way beyond proportion. I can say this, those files were run by the worst scum on Earth. They were run by Comey, they were run by Garland, they were run by Biden and all of the people that actually ran the government, including the auto pen. Those files were run for 4 years by those people. If they had anything, I assume they would have released it. The whole thing is a hoax. They ran the files. I was running against somebody that ran the files. If they had something, they would have released. Now, for years, I wouldn't talk to Jeffrey Epstein. I wouldn't talk because he did something that was inappropriate. He hired help. And I said, don't ever do that again. He stole people that worked for me. I said, don't ever do that again. He did it again. And I threw him out of the place, persona non grata. I threw him out, and that was it. I'm glad I did, if you want to know the truth. And by the way, I never went to the island. And Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times. I never went to the island, but Larry Summers, I hear, went there. He was the head of Harvard. And many other people that are very big people. Nobody ever talks about them. I never had the privilege of going to his island. And I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island. In one of my very good moments, I turned it down. I didn't want to go to his island.
Okay, so in one of his very good moments, so he's acknowledging that it was a really good idea not to go to the island, which is, okay, how do you know that? How would you know that?
Yeah, and he hears all of these people. Oh, these people are going, and this person's going, and Bill Clinton's. But how do you know that if this is a big conspiracy? These files were run. They've got to be incredibly tired at this point for how much running has been done with them. How do you know that? I mean, you just said that all of this stuff is essentially a big hoax. It's unreliable because all these bad, horrible, the worst people, are again running these files. I still want to know what the hell that means. So how do you know any of this?
Okay, hold on. We just got, Congress is deposing. Oh, another one. Okay, so the day after they hear Ghislaine Maxwell's testimony, let's see, the Congress of the United States, House of Representatives is deposing the United States White House auto pen. The pen will be asked multiple questions in particular. Does the auto pen have a lawyer? Has anyone ever represented an auto pen before? I'm sorry, I maybe am going too far. No, I'm not going too far with that joke. That's just insane. I'm sorry. It's just including the auto pen. The auto pen's in on it, folks. Jeez. Yeah, no, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's okay. It's a conspiracy, except it's true. It's just a conspiracy where it comes to me. And if they so they made it up to hurt him, but if there was anything there to hurt him, they would have released it. It's double talk. It's all friggin' double talk. I'm gonna play one more clip and then.
Well, it is often the case that two things can be true at once. If they're opposed to each other, then you can't have them true at the same time. It's like it's either reliable information or it's not. So how can you say that, or how can we believe that, oh, well, you're not involved at all and you didn't have anything to do with that, and this is all just a hoax and it's unreliable because, again, I'm not going to get over the files were ran. They must have a big hamster wheel with all the freaking running those files have done. But at the same time, the files tell me, and people who have read the files tell me that these people have been there to the island so many times, but
nobody's told them anything. Yeah. All right. So so Titan pointed out, we got two really good questions. Titan pointed out, if you would just release the files, then we'd know exactly who was there and when. Seems to me. And then Wizard of Oz says, does the auto pen have a vibrate mode asking for a friend? Why would they put a vibrate mode on the pen?
That's version 2.0.
Okay. I'm sorry that one just went over my head. I got no idea what you would. Okay. All right. Yeah. We can ask. I'll ask. I'll call up the White House and ask for you. Does the auto pen have a vibrate mode? Listen. If anybody knows the answer to that, it's Bill Clinton. I'm going to call Bill. I'll find out for you. Okay. So he's the one who installed the vibrate mode on the auto pen. All right, one more clip here, and let's see. I want to make sure that we don't. So I gotta do that, and here we go.
So, Mr. President, Epstein has a certain reputation, obviously. I'm just curious, were some of the workers that were taken from you, were some of them young women?
Were some of them young women? Well, I don't want to say, but everyone knows the people that were taken. And it was the concept of taking people that work for me is bad. But that story's been pretty well out there. And the answer is yes, they were.
Yes, they were young women?
What did they do?
In the spa.
In the spa?
Yeah, people that work in the spa. I have a great spa, one of the best spas in the world in Mar-a-Lago. And people were taken out of the spa, hired by him. In other words, gone.
Put the thing back. All right, so Blonde Bombsheller gifted 10 memberships to In Time. Blonde Bombsheller, thank you so much for your continued support of this channel. We really do appreciate it. We all work very hard here to give you information and get it to you in a timely fashion, and we are going to be getting back to the far more pertinent and relevant tsunami warnings and what we're expecting shortly. And there's been more going on. We'll get to that in a minute. But thank you very much for your support. We really do appreciate it. Any thoughts, Isandring, on what he just said?
Yeah, I'm sure you don't want to say, because then you're admitting you actually know something that you probably should have spoken up and said something about.
Yep. And he says he said in another one, I think he was asked about Guthrie, and was that a part of this one, or was that no? He was asked about Guthrie, and he admitted that she had worked for him, and she was one of the ones that he took. And it's sort of like, okay, she was working for you at the age of 14, so you knew who she was. She got taken at the age of 14. You know, okay, so right off the bat, you know, more than I'm comfortable with. Dear Lord. Yeah.
This has the potential to be the anchor that drowns Trump in the last 2 years. It's like most of the stuff just seems to slide off of him when he's attacked with his supporters. This is kind of sticking. Everybody I know is very upset that these things haven't been released.
Well, what are people saying about Ghislaine Maxwell maybe testifying, and or if she gets immunity? Not immunity, really pardon. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, they're not really talking about that portion of it at all. They're just everybody's just angry that it's not that this stuff isn't just simply being released. It's like, you know, everybody was like, release everything. And I absolutely agree that all of this stuff should be released. That we're doing nothing but convincing people that there's, you know, shadow people of power that are trying to be protected, and that we're really not going to be able to ever get a president to try and represent people. You know, they're always going to be looking out for the big, wealthy, powerful people and not the American people. And this is coming from, you know, Trump supporters, people who were very much like they didn't care about anything. They were absolutely convinced he was going to do all of the things that he said he was going to do, and they were there for that. They wanted that, and now he's backed off of quite a few things. You know, watching them twist themselves into pretzels, trying to convince everybody that, oh no, tariffs aren't actually a tax on the American people, and no, this is really be good. Just give it time, and now they're pretty pissed off over this. This is a sticking point that they're not letting go of.
All right. For those of you just joining us, we had planned to really talk about Trump. Also, there was a shooting today that we believe is related to the not TBI specifically, the concussive injuries that Associated Press, a magnitude 8.7 earthquake. Yes, thank you. Did you learn that from us? If Associated Press is watching us, you know, so that'd be delightful. All right. So
if the Associated Press is watching us, I probably should have put on some better clothes. Maybe
you probably should have put on some clothes. Sorry.
I told you that in confidence.
That and you rubbing your AR whatever it was at the time.
We can't do that on live streams anymore.
No, we can't. And quite frankly, I don't know what would have been worse, the metaphor or the reality. It was the anyways. So for those of you who haven't been around for more than 3 or 4 years would get the joke. And maybe we'll have a minute to discuss it in a few. What I'd like to do is just do a quick shout out. 𝐍𝐬𝐚𝐬 gave us $20 US. Can't seem to get a decent comment though. So Slava, thank you very much for that. You've another one who's always been supporting us, and it really does help. It means a lot. So thank you, sir. 𝐍𝐬𝐚𝐬 also gifted 5 in-time memberships. So congratulations to all of you who are joining me as a member now. My private account got a membership. So there's that. We had a pretty good. I wanted to talk more about Seth Rogen, and we may get into it. We're not going to stay exclusively with Joe Rogan. Thank you. But literally, as we were preparing for the show, we got breaking, which was an 8.0 earthquake that had gone off off the coast of Russia. We're sitting there going, okay, we'll keep an eye on it. And it very quickly got reevaluated to an 8.7, which is really quite large because it's a logarithmic scale, and 9 is 10 times bigger than an 8. That's large. In fact, it turns out that that's the 8th largest, as I'm being told now, earthquake ever recorded. So that was pretty large. We decided we would go with it. There have been multiple tsunami warnings. We've gone into what we've been told by Russian media, which was the first place hit was Russia. Russia received a wall of water that they described as between 3 and 4 meters high, about 3 feet to a meter. So, you're looking at 12 to 15 feet high of water. We know that there's a massive electrical outage and internet outage, so nobody knows what's really going on there. We know that Japan is going to get hit. We know a few other places are going to get hit. We know this basically because we've already seen the tsunami. Other areas we don't know if they're going to get hit or not. And that didn't take long. Like, how long does it take for me to misplace all my notes? So we've been sort of doing the show we were planning while we wait. What you're seeing here is Kushiro, Japan. They are not the first place in Japan, I think, that's going to get hit. The first place in Japan that we had, I don't have it. Maybe they are the first to get hit. And Japan is a whole bunch of islands, so they're not all going to get hit simultaneously. But so we're waiting to see what happens, but you're seeing in the center there a live cam, and we're expecting Japan's initial hit to be in about 5 or 10 minutes from when this started. But we've been following up, and the following up is interesting. So I'm just going to get into some of the things that we've learned since then. First and foremost, and I said this earlier, and I may actually also just put this into the center. The largest earthquake swarm ever recorded has happened at Washington's Mount Rainier. This happened yesterday. It was a swarm volcano. Now, swarm over 1,000 earthquakes. Now, swarms like this happen, and by the way, really big, strange, scary, unusual things do happen coincidentally next to each other. It's the nature of randomness, and if a roulette wheel in Vegas once came up black 22 times in a row. The only thing I'm completely sure of is that wait long enough, one's going to come up black 23 times in a row. But what's interesting is on average, globally, there are 55 earthquakes every single day. 55 every day. Of 1.5, what is that? 1.5 or higher. This is 1.5, yeah, okay. However, in the last 24 hours, there have been 125. Now, I'm assuming that that's excluding the 1,000, well, that would have to be excluding the vast majority, if not all of the 1,000 at Mount Rainier. That's a lot of that's a lot of earthquakes over the last 24 to 48 hours. Really rather unusual earthquake activity. This earthquake that we're watching for right now, we're watching the tsunami for right now, again, 8th highest in recorded history, and the largest in the last 16 years. So we have the largest earthquake in 16 years, the single largest swarm of earthquakes ever recorded, now in a completely different place. It was in the U.S., and that was yesterday. And then, and let's see, M1, M2, okay. And then we have an overall dramatic 55 on average to 125 in the last 24 hours. I am not a seismologist. I have no idea what it means. It does seem to be rather unusual activity. Isandring, any thought? Do you have any? Here, I am not a seismologist, but you know who I know is an expert in this and who will be able to entertain you for at least 15 or 20 minutes on this topic with some of the most salient and important information you've ever seen. My co-host, Isandring person. Isandring, please regale us all with all of your expert knowledge on this topic.
You pronounced 𝐒𝐚𝐬𝐼LMAN incorrectly. I am not, in fact, an expert in seismology. However, I play one on YouTube. So,
okay,
and I actually live up by Mount Rainier. So this is the swarm quakes for Mount Rainier have been going on quite often. It's not unusual. And none of the seismologists that are reporting on it seem particularly concerned about it yet. And a few years ago, we had the same kind of thing happen. Though all of the kind of magna pockets that are funding, man, I'm making this sound like it's a government project, that are supplying, the volcanoes along that area, well, that's all due to the rift, the ring of fire, because the tectonic plate rubs right through there and allows little pockets of magma to come through. And there are volcanoes along the Cascades all up and down them. Some of them fairly frequently. Somebody may have remembered back to the 80s, one of them kind of popped off called Mount St. Helens. And so they're all up along there. Mount Baker, which is, I live right by Mount Baker. And you just start running right down Mount Rainier, Mount Adams, Mount St. Helens. There's just a whole ring of them. And it's because of its proximity to the continental plates. And as they shift, it's all one big plate, the Pacific plate, it's all connected. So now everybody's going, oh my God, we got this massive earthquake over here. That's let loose. That's going to build up pressure in these other areas. And now Mount Rainier is waking up. And it's like, well, it's not really waking up. It's kind of like grumbled or maybe snorted a little bit in its sleep, because this isn't particularly unusual for Mount Rainier. So you have on one side, it's the end of the world as we know it, and they somehow feel fine. And then you have the other people's, it's like, oh my God, buy all of the ammo in the world, because I guess they think they can eat ammo, because the ring of fire is going to go off, and then Yellowstone's going to go after that, because after all, look, there's a whole new mineral puddle that is formed. It was dry forever, and now suddenly there's hot water coming out of it again, and it's Yellowstone's going up. And of course, none of the people who work there and study this and take all of these readings, none of them are concerned. I will be concerned when the park rangers and when all of the seismologists around that measure and look at Mount Rainier and all of the ones that are measuring and looking at all of the phenomenon going on in Yellowstone, when they leave, and they're on their X channels, telling you, showing you all the cool stuff that they've been learning and measuring and stuff. When they go dark, or they outright say, hey, I'm getting the heck out of here, maybe then I'll worry a little bit. We live along fault lines all up and down the West Coast. People in California should be familiar with this. That fault line runs all the way up the coast of the U.S. So there are going to be earthquakes, and they happen sporadically. Be prepared for that. Be prepared for a loss of communication, especially a loss of power. Can you live in your house for a month with no power? That would be seem to be a more salient and useful thing. And it irritates me when I see all of these people that claim to be preppers, and they're like, oh my God, you better get your ammo stocked up, because it's, the end of the world's coming, and we're going to have a devastating ecological event because the ring of fire is going to come to life and spew ash and stuff, and we're going to have what the equivalent of a nuclear winter. And I'm like, oh my God, I guess it gets clicks. but maybe you should think about having water available, because if all of these volcanoes do go off and these earthquakes do happen, these massive earthquakes all along the coast, along the ring of fire, it's going to happen. Well, it's probably going to break your water pipes and your sewer pipes. So any standing water is probably going to be contaminated. Do you know how to filter it? Do you know how to clean it? Do you know where to get water? Do you have any water? Do you have any food? Do you have a blanket? Because this is probably going to happen in the middle of winter too. Because of course, everything has to happen in the middle of winter. You can't have an easy disaster. It's going to be compounded by other factors as well. So it's frustrating to watch, because I try and pay attention to the experts. When they start leaving and they get concerned, then I'll be concerned.
Well, that's kind of my problem, though, which is that sounds awfully reasonable and rational. And we on In Time are trying to boost our ratings. So, can you say something that might just be a little more panic-driven and gas? I wouldn't necessarily say gaslight, but yeah, please.
Okay, the Pacific Plate is pretty unique in the fact that it's well, I say unique because some other plates do this as well. However, this one is under a bit of pressure. It's buckling, and it's also slowly turning. And it's forecasted that the southern part of California is going to get sheared off, and eventually is going to be out in the middle of the ocean as an island chain, and LA won't be there anymore. And of course, Republicans will cheer, and that's actually going to happen really soon. So geologists using geological time say, hey, we're overdue. Yellowstone's also overdue to erupt as well, and all of these volcanoes are very near eruption as well. So again, using geological time. So they are warning that a lot of these events are overdue, and they'll probably all start happening at once. So there is an expected buildup of pressure, and the entire plate is expected to actually kind of shift at once, which is going to cause an entire ring of devastation around the western coast of Asia and the eastern or the eastern coast of Asia and the western coast of the United States. It will probably wipe out most of the population of Alaska, because most of the people in Alaska live within 50 miles of the coast. It will wipe out most of Seattle. Seattle will have devastating collapses, because Seattle kind of burned down once, and they didn't bother to get rid of it. They just built over the top of it. So there's going to be a lot of problems and a lot of deaths, because the Cascades are going to block in. You're going to have tsunamis that could hit up to 65 feet that are going to come right over the entire inland. So yeah, I mean, all of this is overdue, and it's going to happen. And geologists, of course, using geological time, have said this is going to happen. So when this happens, of course, society will completely break down, and you will lose the rule of law in these areas. So you better have a hell of an arsenal and a hell of a supply of ammunition, because you're not going to need to eat or drink anything, but you are going to have to worry about marauding bands of looters that are going to come and take all of the supplies that you don't have. So you better have enough ammunition to defend them. So tune in for more. I mean, as these things, oh my God, I think we had another 25 quakes just in the time I was speaking on Mount Rainier. It is overdue. It's coming. Be prepared, geologically speaking.
So what I think Isandring is saying, folks, is that the Patreon link is down below, and you can click on that and join or become a member in these times, and while you still have a chance before we descend into hell, which frankly I kind of thought we did when Trump won the election. But thank you very much for that terrifying report, Isandring. I appreciate it, and yeah, that's a so. You could watch any channel in these end times, but you've chosen to spend your end times with us, and we are delighted that In Time is your channel for the end of time. Thank you. $5.
That is.
Yep.
That is going to be our new show, by the way, because again, we do need to boost our ratings. So I am going to take a look at all of these natural phenomena and these disasters that are well overdue in geological time, to keep you abreast of all of the things that are imminently going to happen. Forget, don't look up. don't look down. Just keep your eyes straight ahead, because obviously on an astronomical time scale, we're way overdue to get hit with an extinction level meteor. So that's just around the corner as well. And if we're really lucky, they might even line up. So we might be dealing with all of this at once.
Yeah, I when you talk about, I do think it's funny because it's like, I'm not a prepper by any stretch of the imagination, but even I know it's like, okay, they're getting guns. They think that this is going to be The Walking Dead. Like, what are they? Okay. Jester, $5. This is it, homies. Would I, an honest trickster god, mislead you to help Nick boost his ratings? Go get your bows and arrows, your pills too. Thank you, Jester. Thank you for the $5 super chat. One of the things I'm going to do is, and actually I'm trying to figure out where that, so we had a chart. I would like to know when this area is expected to get hit. I got to tell you, the sun is coming up, and as it gets brighter, I can see the what, I don't know what that is out there. I assume that those are some kind of barricade against a tsunami, but I look at those and I keep thinking it is a tsunami coming in, and it freaks me out. It's just like, oh my god, it's a no, not yet.
Wait, I think we're getting some breaking. I believe that Trump told somebody who then leaked it to somebody else and then spread it around on the internet that the autopin is geoengineering these problems with the Pacific Plate, and that it is specifically lining everything up to happen at once while using HARP to direct an asteroid towards the East Coast.
Towards New York, towards the liberals.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, good.
Well, pretty much anywhere that's actually, investigating him or potentially bringing him up on charges or just said anything bad at all. I guess they're going to break it up and target it. But the auto pin's in on this.
Yeah, that's a sneaky auto pen. Sister Porpoise, I did miss you, so thank you for reminding me. $5.12. I've never had the privilege of going to Epstein's Island either, and I in no way think that the president said that in a really weird way. Yeah, no, that was smooth. He covered. I'm wondering. He's definitely showing signs of dementia. I'm just wondering if for a moment he was just sitting there. Oh yeah, it's the windmills. That's it. It's the windmills. So he was talking.
I swear they're listening to me. The windmills. They're definitely staring at me.
Yeah.
They're angry, blinky, red eyes. Yeah, I'm up in the middle of Iowa, so I'm surrounded by by windmills, which surprisingly don't freeze up in the wintertime.
But
maybe Texas could ask how that's possible.
And they kill fewer birds than he was like, and all the birds that have been killed by the windmills. It's like, actually, it is true, windmills do kill birds, but they kill fewer birds than the average building in Manhattan. First of all, just the building standing there, because the birds see the glass and think they can, and then boom. But that notwithstanding, and then there's like, it's 1/100th of the number of birds that die from environmental damage, carbon emissions, and so I was just sitting there going like, dude. Yeah, okay, as if he cares about the birds anyway, but yeah, he's yeah, it's the CO2 emissions. All right, so I do what I would like to do is go figure out if I can find the Quake has been upgraded to an 8.8. And let's see. I want to see if I can find that list again. So it's they're now saying 8.8. Yeah, they've jumped around between 8.8 and 8.7. I think it's going to land on 8.8. They actually upgraded it to 8.8, and then we're saying 8.7. Oh, is that the list? Is that the list? Tell me I just saw the list. Yeah, I think that's the list. All right. So we are looking at, and I don't have my glasses on me because I honestly was not expecting to. Where did the link go? We were looking at. Oh, that's why I'm on the wrong page. Kushiro, Japan. Let me see if I can find Kushiro. Oh yeah, the Kushiro is the first one. So Kushiro, Japan is expected to be hit. And maybe you can do the calculation for me. It's UTC, which I guess for me I'm off by 5, unless the daylights. I always get confused. So it's 0132 UTC. So I don't know how far away that is. I've got a computer. Why not just what time is it in UTC? Okay, it's 1:40. So it's past it.
Do you want to know how you figure that out?
Yes.
And then all you have to do is remember that. Okay.
Okay.
And for the summertime, West Coast time. That's why I've got it remembered for West Coast, because I lived on the West Coast. Was stationed on the West Coast. So the time zone that the West Coast is in, Pacific time zone, is +7 Tango, which means in order to get to UTC, or Greenwich Mean Time, which we used to call it, that means you have to add 7 hours. Now in the wintertime, and we go back to our normal time zones, it's +8 uniform. So it'd be 8. You'd have to add 8 hours. So since you're on the Eastern time, you need to subtract 3 from that. So right now that would be +4 hours from where you are right now.
All right. Perfect. All right, so +4. So Japan should already have been hit, and I haven't seen anything. That was 1:32. They were supposed to be hit a little more than 10 minutes ago. Unless the feed is not accurate in terms of time, it says it's live. I suspect it's live.
I asked if Dick Dawson was close to the coast. And kind of, if I recall correctly, he lives near Penticton, British Columbia, which is on the other side of the Cascades. But right in that area is kind of right where the Rockies and the Cascades kind of come together right there through the east portion of British Columbia, the western portion of Alberta. That's where the Rockies and the Cascades kind of run together, and then it runs right up the rest of the coast up into Alaska.
Let's see if Noah's running again.
I'm pretty sure he told me he was out by Penticton, which is in the Okanagan Valley, which is on the east side of the
All right, so it looks like my understanding was they were reasonably sure Japan was going to get hit, but I don't see anything. So we'll keep an eye on this. So what I think we're going to do, I'm going to go back one more time, check and see if there's anything new that's breaking. That's okay. There was a 1-foot tsunami on Japan. Russia and Ecuador are apparently the ones that are actually most concerned about. Japan has been hit, but it's only been about a foot. That's my understanding. Tsunami warnings are currently in effect for the coastal of Japan. So it's the entire east coast on Japan.
Isn't that a bit redundant, saying coastal Japan? I mean, it's an island.
Are you?
so
Are
there's-
you? Don't. You want the big? You want? Is this about you getting the big seat? Is that what this is about? You want the big seat?
Well, I think I'm bigger than you, so I probably need it. I mean, I am, after all,
Okay.
an old fat truck driver. So
Will you please take the big seat? I don't want to be responsible for anything anymore. All right.
oh, I didn't say I was going to take any of your responsibilities. I just want the bigger seat.
Oh, okay. You had me
Hey,
excited
my
there.
seat is air ride and air adjustable, and it slides back and forth. It doesn't slide side to side though, thankfully. So I got a really cool seat.
I'm gonna
and
go
it
back.
cost a lot.
All right, so this would be right before it was supposed to hit. So I've gone back about
been
15
watching.
minutes.
Can't really see.
Yeah, so it looks like they got one, but it was only a foot. So I don't know how or what determines the size of these things. So I mean, my understanding, well, there's so much that's going to bleed off the energy. But having said that, water absorbs energy so well, and it can travel for so long. But
Well, it's
Reddit,
because
a
it's so
tsunami
dense,
was
it doesn't
generated.
compress.
Yes. Off of Reddit, a tsunami was generated. Yeah, I'd need something more than Reddit. Oh, and Titan pointed out the first waves are not the biggest. How long is it actually? Yeah, they
But
expected it.
If ever you're standing
Yeah.
on the beach and the ocean suddenly starts to retreat,
Run.
kiss your loved one. Well, no, don't bother running. You can't go
Uh-huh.
far enough, fast enough.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe look around and see if anybody's got a big boat that's going out to sea too, and if you can get on that, because you're much more likely to survive if you're actually on the ocean. Weird, I
Mm.
know that sounds, but because if you can get far enough offshore, even a very large, powerful tsunami has very little effect on things out when it's water still deep. It's as the water shallows, it's
Yeah.
shallower, and that mass of water keeps moving. So it's like out, a few dozen miles off the coast, you might just get a 5-foot little swell, and you just kind of go up and down, and then of course as it gets to shore, it turns into this 50-foot monster that wipes everybody off.
Well, and even
I
that,
just
yeah, I
thought it
mean, yeah, it can go right under you too without you even really knowing it, because the height stays the same. But what happens is it's when the depth of the water gets shallow, that because the height's staying the same, the wave appears to rise up out of the. I've seen. I mean, there's some spectacular footage of that. Porpoise. Yeah, it was 45 feet in freedom units. Exactly. All right, so we're gonna stay on this for a little bit longer. We do have, so this is where the original, and I'd love to zoom that back out, but I don't have the full map. But so that's right off the coast of Russia, and they reported 14 feet, about 14 feet hitting them. So, all right. So back to the Trump thing. So we have him denying that the Epstein report is true or that he's in it, pointing out that the parts that are most untrue are the parts that contain him in it, admitting that Guthrie was working for him and she was poached by Epstein, which was why he stopped being friends with Epstein, which was he kept poaching all his workers, which is uncool. Which is his second defense. His first defense was actually better. He was just like, I'm not gonna. Well, yeah, we stopped being friends because he was a creep. I was just like, that's actually, if you're getting the creepy vibe and he's a creep, that's a really good reason to stop being friends with someone. He's like, no. And then he's just like, well, actually, it's because he was poaching women who worked at the, oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, but he doesn't want to say.
Yeah, but I'm not going to say, when your first thought is to say the words, I'm not going to say, my advice, follow through with what you just said.
And just shut your mouth.
Oh.
You know, I'm actually kind of surprised he hasn't pulled the, this is still an ongoing investigation, so we can't really comment on anything yet.
Yeah, that's because that takes like I mean, he just doesn't. I mean, yeah. There's so
Why
much.
isn't anybody in the administration taking that stance?
Oh God! Frankly, if I cleaned out the
Trying to
trash bins,
justify
I'd
all
take
of
that.
these
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No, it's so. Ghislaine Maxwell has said that she would testify before Congress, given complete immunity for anything she says and a number of other conditions. She would want all because she doesn't want to get ambushed, and it would be uncomfortable for her to get a question that she wasn't ready for. Congress is not going to capitulate to any of those. And Congress doesn't usually grant immunity either. Now, she can plead the fifth, but and she said she's going to plead the fifth if they don't grant her that. She has said, barring that, she would also testify if she gets a pardon from Donald Trump. I keep sitting here thinking her that MAGA would go wild, but the fact that people on the far right, and it seemed that way to me too, which was nobody on the far right. I did catch some Joe Rogan, and he was talking about why he thought this was important, and I was just like, holy shit to you. And I'm just worried that she's going to get a pardon. She's going to come out and say, oh no, Trump was never Trump who in exchange for a pardon. And I don't see,
Like preemptively pardons her. Like, I'm not testifying until I have that pardon for anything that I may say in this testimony in hand. Maybe people are thinking, well, if she does it that way and they actually agree to it, and like, you can revoke a pardon.
all right, now
Just lay it all out on the line. But again, don't get your hopes up. I do not believe it's going to be released. It's going to be just like the JFK. There's going to be conspiracy after conspiracy, theories after theories, and they're just not going to do it. And everybody's going to be left wondering. And then even, how many years later, they're still not really giving. It's like, oh, we're going to release everything. And it's like, well, no, you still didn't. Most of the stuff you released has already been released. I mean, come on.
So, let me ask you this. You seem to think that this is the first time that it's been something that he hasn't been able to brush off. You also said that you didn't think would ever really learn, would ever really see the files and learn what it says. It's odd. You and I appear to be continuing our discussion, but it appears as if the stream has lagged out, and I'm not sure why.
Well, if you bear with some weird audio for a moment.
Well, hold on. Is it? Hold on.
It is live for me.
All right. Well, I think some people have lagged out. It may be something having to do with tsunamis. I don't know, but I have a version that says it's live, and I can see it live over here. So we may have lagged out briefly.
It's the double meteor shower. And again, they've directed HAARP to bring in some asteroids to hit us. And on a geological timescale, we're so overdue that it's practically tomorrow that the entire ring of fire is going to erupt, and the whole Pacific plate's going to shift, and the LA is going to end up out, a few hundred miles off the coast of California. I mean, practically tomorrow, geologically.
Yeah, I mean, just like that. And so if you want to, support a channel that will Gaslight, I tell you the truth like this. You know.
And if you join Patreon at the highest level, you get all of my Prepper 101, and you get to see all the cool tactical shit that you really should. I should phrase that. All the cool tactical stuff that you need to survive the zombie apocalypse, because of course that's when the plates shift and Mount St. Helens and Mount Baker and Mount Adams and Mount St. Helens again all erupt. Mount Hood, all those are going to erupt. Then you're going to it's going to release a long dormant virus that had been trapped under the crust but has thawed because of global warming, and it's going to infect people, and the zombie apocalypse is going to come out, and I can tell you exactly what kinds of pistol belts you need, what kind of cool pants you should be wearing, and what obviously what firearms and ammunition you should stockpile, because you're going to need at least 20 of each firearm. You know, you need redundancy in the prepper world. You know, one is none and two is one, and so when you carry that to its logical conclusion, you're going to need, you know, like 20 rifles, so you better get, you know, 40 of them or maybe 60 of them, and you're going to need, you know, a couple 100,000 rounds. You know, and I'll tell you exactly which ones you should get, and there's absolutely no controversy over any of that. And what else? The cool helmets that you need to get with the night vision, what kind of optics you should have, all of that stuff. We're going to gloss over, you know, needing food or water, because I mean, hell, it's a zombie apocalypse. The food and water will just be lying around. So,
yes. All right.
I'm trying, man. Here,
thank you. No, I think that's perfect. So join the Patreon, and thank you so much to everyone who has supported us. I think we're gonna call it a stream. We haven't seen anything big in Japan. If there's something breaking that we need to cover, we will be back. And so make sure that you like and subscribe and hit the bell so that you get notifications when we go breaking, and or join us on the Discord too, because we carry all that also, there. Yep.
Double check to make sure you're still actually subscribed and that your notifications are set at the level that you want, because YouTube does have this weird thing of just unsubscribing you occasionally. Changing your notifications. It likes to do that.
Yeah, YouTube does a lot of weird things. We had the Franken stream once, which I think was before your time, but we couldn't shut it off, and there was nothing we could do to shut it. We kept hitting the off button. We weren't transmitting anymore, and it wouldn't stop. And you know, people would go and it would just say live, and there was nothing there. We could reconnect to it, and it was still live. And we tried reconnecting, disconnecting, reconnect, and that stream went on for, I think it was 18 hours. YouTube. What level merits the Cthulhu summoning ritual? That's a good question. We're going to have to put that on there.
I'm going to say that's a good solid level 9, and you know, we're currently at level 6, just before, you know, complete insurrection and collapse of the United States in World War IV. So, but pay attention, because again, on a geologic timescale, that's practically tomorrow.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, as a matter of fact, we're overdue. I mean, it should have already happened. So, you hold on to your butts, because it's literally going to happen any second now, geologically speaking.
Geologically speaking, that is. Please keep that's an important caveat. All right. Thank you, Isandring. Thank you to the mods. Thank you for everyone who has. Yeah, I think Jester meant on the Patreon. What level grants you the Cthulhu? I'm gonna have to think. Nobody's asked me that one before. I've been doing this a while. That's a new one. Congratulations, you've hit one I've really genuinely never considered. And I mean, we had the vibrating auto pen, like that's going to be. I'm going to put that in the store. We'll have that on the store. Vibrating auto pen. We do have the send in the YouTubers. That was for Cyrus when he was talking about going into kidnap's a strong word, but remove brainwashed people from another thing, but apparently the people most qualified to help people deconstruct from cults is YouTubers. So we have a shirt just for that. And it's a long story. Anyways, thank you all for joining us, and we look forward to. I'll figure out a Cthulhu level for the Patreon. It seems a little. I'm going to say this. It seems self-defeating because if we summon Cthulhu, like, the show's probably over. I mean, the good news is we go out on a high note. I mean, that is breaking news. I'm just concerned about surviving it. I'm a little less concerned about, like, Isandring, Titan, and the others surviving it. But my own survival is high up there on the priority list. Did I say that one aloud, or was that just me thinking? Okay. I'm starting to get like
and
Trump.
For all of you rational people who are pointing out, that the last supervolcano erupted, and while it did cause kind of a mini ice age, humanity survived just fine. I mean, maybe some individuals were having a pretty bad day, waking up dead and all, but humanity was still around. That is way too rational of a view. So I would like to remind people that humanity today is so dependent upon its technology, and should something like that actually erupt and we get another mini ice age and things like that, technology is going to start failing, and then since we are unable to survive without our technology anymore, the zombie apocalypse is going to happen. Somehow zombies end up popping out of every single scenario I've ever seen. It's weird. I don't know why. And there's been a couple of scenarios where I've seen actually vampires come back because prions will be released from the permafrost that will infect people and turn them into vampires. I saw it. It was on a news channel on Netflix. Might have been Prime Video. It caused an entire war.
Exactly. I'm sure it had a title. Don't know what it was, but yep.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think they called the wars the V Wars. I mean, fitting, vampires and everything. So
yep. All right.
I'm waiting for the disaster scenario that brings back werewolves, because I'm all for that. I'll go stand in the forest with a stake around my neck.
Oh, I thought you wanted to be a werewolf. Okay. Okay.
Come on, who doesn't like dogs? You'd be the most friendly. Everybody would love you. You'd be like bebopping around. Full moon pops out. Oh, and then it was like, oh my God, they're so cute, and everybody's gonna swarm you and give you pets and feed you bacon.
I really, we've been sitting here waiting on this thing. It's like if a tsunami shows up like right now while we're making jokes, it's going to look really bad. I'm just saying.
I am watching the feed, so I mean, if suddenly I see water going on, it'd be like, okay, folks, on a more serious note. Again,
all right. Thank you all for joining us, and look forward to seeing you all. Our next scheduled show is Downtime with Commander Lance McMillan. And, of course, breaking news will bring it to you. So thank you again, and have a good night.